Welcome to Time 414. Have you seen the things around the internet that say you're not their friend, you're their parent? I've seen those. And I wonder why can't both be true? I remember when I was a teen growing up, my mom would say to me, and again, I have a very wise mom, she said, I'm your parent first, and I want to be your friend second. You can be both. You just define in which order you are there for them. Because let's face it, when you get to be 20, 30, 40, you don't really need a mom in the functional sense. I mean, we all need our mom. I need my mom. But, I need my mom emotionally. I don't need her to tell me what to do anymore. I don't need her to come in and pick up after me. There's a lot of things I don't need because I'm an adult. But I value her friendship now in my 40s that she built when I was a teenager. Some people think that once their kid becomes an adult, they can just automatically, be friends with them once the parenting part is over, but they forget, why would they want to be your friend later if you never built that relationship before? And they remember their teenage years, like we all do, filled with trials and tribulations and upset feelings and emotions, and the one person that was there, was just a parent. They weren't a friend when you needed a friend. Why would you want to be their friend later? I mean, we neglect that part of the relationship and then expect it to bloom, and that's not even a logical thought process. So I actually had this conversation. I've had this conversation with all of my children, but one of them just last night even. And it was, one of my older kids, and it was, look, you don't really need me that much as a mom anymore. The things that I'm doing that are like momming-ish right now are not necessary. They're reminders. They're helpful things. I'm not saying anything new. But I really value our friendship. And it felt to me, because life changes, especially a lot in those late teenage, early 20 years, I reminded my child that the friendship part is important to me, and I want to build that and expound on that. And we need to communicate better on how to keep that intact while you branch off on your own, because it's different with every child. It just is. They all, that they're all different people, but the path from teenager to adulthood is different for everybody. And it should be. We're all different people. We all choose different things and have different experiences. And even your teenager, by the time they get to that age, is the same. They've had different things. And although you were there for some of it, you don't really know exactly how they're feeling or what they're thinking. You might have an idea, but you don't know all the details. I mean, I tell people sometimes I don't even know what I'm thinking. How should I know what anybody else is thinking? Or vice versa, them understand me. Just an aside, that was a funny conversation with one of my teens once. He was talking about his dad, my husband. He's like, he should know what you're thinking. I'm like, how could he know what I'm thinking? I don't even know what I'm thinking. And it was funny because I saw him kind of stop and pause with that, just the ideas people get in their head about what a marriage should be or a partnership. And it's the same kind of ideas we get in our head about what our relationship with our teenagers should be. But it all requires communication. So that was a discussion I had last night with my older teen, on what do we need to do here, because our friendship was faltering. And I was feeling more like a nag, honestly, about the things. I mean, and this is just coming off of Easter weekend too, so a holiday weekend, and there were other things that they wanted to do, and our communication really just sucked prior to that. And part of it was me. I had asked once what the plans were, and I got a vague answer, and I was irritated that I got a vague answer. We do the holidays basically the same. There's little things that change, but Easter's one of them. The morning is always the same. The dinner is, generally the same. It's, if it's not we know way ahead of time, but the timing of it's the same. It's not like this is a holiday that changes where my child wouldn't know what to expect. So I understood that they had other things in their life that they wanted to do and places to go and people to visit with, and that was fine. But when I asked and I got a blah answer. I was like, fine. I mean, I don't fight for attention. I haven't to date, and I won't start now. And that was actually one of the things that I said to my child. I'm like, you know, do you want me to chase after you with this because I don't plan on it? It makes me feel like I'm nagging you. It makes me feel like you don't want to be here, or if it was important to you, you would make plans, So it was a good discussion. They didn't realize how I felt. I didn't realize how they felt. And yeah, in this, we both really just agreed that our communication had been horrible. Even besides that one conversation, even on Easter, we texted back and forth a little bit, and even that wasn't good because we both had pent up feelings that we were, communicating out of. When I got a text that they were going to be late, I was like, whatever, they're going to be late. And so I didn't ask questions, but that's not what they had meant. They had meant like some plans had changed. They thought they communicated it, and they weren't going to say more because they were wondering why I was so quiet, why I wasn't asking more. Because, yeah, as a kid, no matter what your age, you expect your parent to be a little more on top of things. And I hadn't stated, I'm giving you space to act like an adult here. I had just taken their response and been like, I'm not going to let them ruin my Easter. You've done that. We've all done that where we get, our feelings hurt a little bit. We're like, no, we're not going to let our feelings be hurt. And we throw the little fit about it. And that is totally what I was doing. And I thought I was right in doing that because I thought he didn't care. And because I was quieter, because I'm very vocal about what I want. And, this is what he knows about me. So because I didn't speak, his feelings were a little hurt, thinking I didn't care. So yesterday was a good talk, but it started with, I'm your mom. We have that relationship. I want to be your friend, and we need to work on that relationship. And we both communicated, and I'm a horrible interrupter, and I know I interrupted him a few times. And honestly, saying this out loud right now, I'll probably shoot him an apology when we're done with this video, because I don't think I ever actually apologized for that. I was just like, okay, sorry, I'm done, you continue. And I should apologize because I am an interrupter. Yeah, and that's part of the friendship part. As a mom, I don't always care when I interrupt them. I mean, I try to be respectful because they're not going to respect me if I don't respect them. So I try. But when I'm a mom and I know I'm right and I know, I just interrupt them and give them the correct information. And yesterday we were talking about working on the friendship, and that doesn't have a place there. In friendship, you're equal and you're both building and respecting each other. So my interrupting didn't do that. Okay, point taken. So I hope this is helpful. Remember, have that conversation with your kids. Let them know that you value your place in their life as their mom or their dad, but you understand that there's a limited time where you're actually needed for that, and you want to build a friendship with them. And that starts pretty early, because think of when they first start going towards independence. I mean, it's like pre-teenage, that sounded weird. Pre-teenager age. There we go. Got the teenager. It's pretty early. So build that friendship. I mean, you can start building the friendship even when they're little, and you play with them. That's building a friend. Think of things they would do when they go to school and there's a friend there. They play with them. Start building that friendship. But keep the lines drawn, because the lines are important. And let them know the priorities, especially the younger teens. You are the parent first, and then you are their friend. But you want to be their friend. They need to hear that. They need to know that. It makes them feel valued. And it lets them know that, they're not an obligation, that they're not, a burden. And it lets them know that, yes, you understand where they're at, and that they need assistance in the form of a parent, which you are, but that beyond that, you see their value as a person, as a human being, as somebody you want to be a friend with. So let them know how much you love them, both as a parent and as a friend.